for me, it all started in the 80s with a whole series of treatments from a cranial osteopath in London, which really changed my whole spine. And then I just had to get into learning this, and then I became a practitioner in the early 90s, and then just love this work. I mean, clinically it's remarkable. Just lots of amazing responses from a whole array of different individuals coming through the clinic. So I set a mother and baby clinic up in London, and then a general clinic around craniosacral therapy, and then started to teach it because it was so inspiring. I wanted to get into conveying it to other people, and then back then there was, it was hardly known in London, and really over the last 20 years it's gone through a huge shift in London, so that now it's one of the known therapies for sure. This work's come out of a mechanical approach, so in a way the question is, what's the difference between how things used to be and how they are now with this new development around Sutherland's original work, which was mechanical in essence. The early cranial osteopaths would be applying quite a lot of pressure, obviously working with the core of the body, and I think over the last 20 years all that's changed in the biodynamic approach to this therapy, where really that's not happening anymore. We're not bringing adjustments through force or intention of some kind. The body's getting a facilitated touch, a relational touch, that it's being enabled to find its own mechanism of change. I mean, that's really exciting. The body does do that. I mean, that's the remarkable thing. You touch in the right way, with the right knowing hands, and suddenly somebody's reorganizing their knee, or the liver's changing, or there's a vertebral shift. I mean, it can be quite dramatic as somebody applying force or traction or decompressions, and it seems to last longer, and the body takes it up as a whole. It's not just that individual part of the body, those particular structures. So I think if the body as a whole is able to amalgamate the change, then things truly stay like that. And people, I think, notice that. Clients come for biodynamic sessions and things don't revert back. Over a few sessions, something changes and it just doesn't return. Plus, I think this work always seems to lead to particularly deep changes. So it's not just the physical that's changing, people's whole systems go through a shift, and then the behavior is different, they're walking differently, posture's changed, the relationships seem to go through all kinds of changes as well. People have more clarity, more focus. So there's a change for the individual, the self of the individual changes, and that's very attractive, I think. Lots of people like that. Obviously, it's transformative. What's happened for me in the development of the foundation training is bringing in relationships, not just with the nervous system and the myofascial matrix of the body, but with a relationship to the endocrine and immune systems. I think that's very exciting. So in quite a few of the seminars we really explore how the body is at a molecular level, a cell level, and it's remarkable what can come through. Something is there. Something is you seem to be able to go into a relationship with a whole different layer of the system. And I suspect, when the body shifts from a structural feel to more of a fluid state, I think that's dropping into the neuroendocrine immune system, because that's where it is, really. It's in the interstitial space. And I think you can start to discriminate all kinds of different aspects of that, which might seem remarkable. How can you relate to molecules? How can you relate to cells? But I think you can, actually. I think we're feeling them. After all, what is the fluid? It's water, isn't it? Which is a molecule, H2O. And in it, there are all kinds of hormones and immune molecules, and you name it. There's a whole array of things in there. And it's been interesting just watching how people who come into foundation training respond to that, and how that takes them to a different level of work. So, I think for me, I want to really explore that in a whole series of advanced workshops over the next few years, looking at different aspects of that. Because in the foundation training, I think we just touch on a lot of big subjects around that. I think that goes really well with the whole world of exciting world of neuroscience and new biology. Really, that's starting to happen, isn't it? Over this last 10 years, that's a very exciting developments in that. I think that goes very well with this biodynamic work, so that we can start to open up to some extremely deep relationships. And who knows what can change then? If somehow your touch is enabling biochemical rebalances, a kind of homeostasis at a interstitial level, at a endocrine level, and then the cell membrane is making changes. Maybe even the nucleus of the cell could change. Why not? We know there are links between chromosomes and the rest of the body, So I think for me, that's what I'd really like to pursue. And, my advanced training in November is very much about that, starting to look at that whole world of science through touch.